everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today I have with us two amazing guests, and they have a new short film out called HEX, and it's right now on the Horror Film Festival circuit. First of all, I'd like to introduce Zachary J. Allen. He is the director and writer, as well as I have Dahlia Mae Pacheco. She is the producer. Zachary, Dahlia, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having us.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to have you on. So tell us a little bit about HEX.
Yeah, so I wrote and directed the thing, so it's all my fault. But you know, it's a story about this lonely guy. I mean, he's depressed, lonely. He's kind of abusing some substances, and he's just thrown into this surreal world. And he doesn't really realize he's being charmed by a witch. And so I feel like everybody could really relate. Well, not everybody, but I feel like a lot of people could relate to loneliness, especially in the modern age with, you know, dating apps and all that fun stuff. It can be hard. So I wanted to kind of try to tackle that in an interesting way. And I was like, well, what better than a witch?
And Dahlia, how did you get involved in this project?
So I have known Zach for the longest time. I actually knew him through my younger sister. And so we kind of, in high school, kind of were able to connect and shared a lot of interests that were very similar. And we got to working on a few projects together with other friends. And then Zach was like, hey, Dahlia, I have this script that I need producing. And I'm like, great, I produce, right? And then we were kind of talking for a few months, we were spitting back and forth ideas, and then little by little we started building up our team, and it was just very collaborative.
And this is an interesting topic because almost like what Zachary said, loneliness is something that everyone has dealt with, and in the age of online dating, which is absolutely weird, been there, done that, and as well as, I mean, just it's just hard. It's crazy because it should be easier to meet people, but it's so hard to meet people. And
yeah.
Sometimes when you do find someone, they're not who they say they are.
Yep, I think that's another thing too, you know, especially talking about those dating apps, you know. It's all about this little kind of caricature of themselves, you know, that they're putting up. And you know, the deeper you dig. There we go.
Yes.
I know words. Trust me. But you know, the deeper you dig, it's like, you know, sometimes you start digging up skeletons. Sometimes. Yeah, I've met some lovely people on those dating apps, but I've met some less than ideal people as well. You know. But
I agree.
Exactly, you know. But it all comes down to this loneliness that I see, and I talk to in a lot of different people that I've met. You know, just in different circles too. You know, like I said, like I was talking to you before we started recording. You know, I'm both filmmaker and plumber, trying to balance both worlds. But I've noticed even in both worlds, you see this loneliness in both, and. It's so interesting to me because, you know, you talk to people from the past and you don't see that anymore. And it's so interesting to me. And I don't know where I was going with that, but
but it was great though. I mean, it was great what you were saying, and it's 100% true. Now, Dahlia, when Zachary sent you over the script, what attracted you to it?
What I really love in any script that I read, especially if we go into the male emotionality, right? Because for some reason in so much media, it's like men can't have emotions, men can't express feeling lonely, they have to always be the top notch. And it was so refreshing to see that Zach was tackling that idea of you know, men have loneliness and women have it. And usually in that horror genre, that's what's really nice about it, right? It's that cautionary tale with the horror genre of being able to communicate it in such a strange way that anybody can watch it and be like, wow, I've been in this situation, maybe not like a witch, but I've been in that situation of being alone and having to tackle it and going through, you know, alcoholism along with it, or just pure loneliness.
and that's what's great about horror. I mean, when horror creators do it just right, they hit on those primal feelings and those primal fears that we all have. And like, I mean, one of my fears for the longest time was, you know, being alone. I mean, being so. By the way, my day job, I'm a mortician. Creepy, but
It explains the whole horror spotlight thing. Eh?
But like one of the things that I've always dealt with, and you know, one of the things I had to do with my job was always picking up bodies. You know, someone passes away in their house, and the sad part is, I've never ever wanted to be the men who die alone. Die as hoarders. Like their house is fucking a mess, and they're always and they're always laying on the floor with their pants down for some reason. I don't know why, but their pants is always down. And like and like they're there for weeks before someone even finds out that they're dead. And like if someone was there, you know, a minor heart attack, that person could have made a phone call and that person would still be alive. So I mean, that loneliness. I feel like the older you get, it's like the worse it gets.
Wow, that's heavy.
That's fucking deep, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's such a. No, I mean that's such a strong point. You know, it's loneliness can be life or death, and
It is.
yeah, I mean, even in HEX we tried to show that. You know. We kind of show it in this cycle of this kind of day that repeats itself throughout the film, and you see this character decline throughout it, and he has no helpline. There's nobody to reach out to, and even if there was, I don't feel he could.
Yeah.
And I see that in a lot of people, unfortunately, and hell, sometimes I see it in myself. And I guess you have to kind of put yourself into this position where you can see it and try to course correct, you know? And that's kind of been the story of my life the past few years, is trying to course correct this loneliness from the pandemic into being social again and finding my place. You know, I'm 21. I look like 27, you know, but you know,
you look young, dude.
Thank you. I try. But you know, it's after the pandemic. You know, I just turned 18, and I just gotten out of high school, and it seemed like everything I had was just gone. And I started getting into film school, and I was so depressed at that point. It just felt like it was kicking the crap out of, you know, something I loved. You know, it was like, oh, watch this movie and write an essay about it. It must be this many pages long. And it's like, but what about having fun with it? You know, it's like I made a bunch of, like, you know, home videos as like a kid. You know, I wouldn't call them films or anything. You know, it's more akin to some YouTube short. But now to kind of reach out, and I've seen these emotions in myself and I've seen them in others, to kind of talk about it in a medium and show it in a film where I could collaborate with other people who are just as creative as me. Dolly, I'm looking at you. And the amazing makeup artists and the actors, I mean, everybody. It was a group project, you know, it was a group effort, and it was so amazing just to tell this story and kind of it was nice to make my statement about this kind of this issue that we're facing as a culture, as a people, however you want to say it, but it's something a lot of people face.
Yeah, and that's what was beautiful about working on this project. Every single person we brought in had a story to tell, somewhere where they were lonely, didn't know how to reach out, didn't have someone to talk to, and it was just beautiful and a bonding moment for all of us.
Yeah,
it's weird from someone who I'm 41, so I'm you know, old enough to be your parent, but it's weird to hear from a 41 to hear, you know, people in their early 20s talk about loneliness, because like from looking from outside, I would think that, you know, people in their 20s are the opposite of lonely, which was so being so involved in social media and TikTok and Instagram. you'll always constantly have interaction with someone.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking about it too. But like, is that false interaction?
Yeah. I will say that every social media you stare at, right, is someone cultivating a special recipe of posts together where they're like, this is who I am and this is who I want you to see me as. And I know when there's people who I want to talk to and I want to get to know them, we'll be talking, and then for some reason their social media looks completely different to who I know them as or who they shared with me as themselves. And I think what's so sad is on social media, you're just scrolling and liking, and that's our interaction. Or we'll comment, oh my God, that was amazing. And then after that, we just don't talk to one another. There are people who I have, we share Instagrams, and then after that, that's it. And I'll only see your life through pictures. You'll see my life through pictures just because of that disparity.
Yeah. I mean, on top of that, I would say, you know, while I was lonely and depressed, it was hard to reach out to even people that were my friends or family because I was like, well, I don't want to bother them, you know, because in their posts, you know, everybody looks so busy doing things, you know, that I'm obviously not doing, you know, getting lunch here, doing something here. And it's like, well, I never do anything like that. So maybe they're just too busy for me, you know? And I think for some, it can be this great thing of socialization. You know, I know people that use it and it has benefited their life. But for me, I don't know, you know, maybe I'm just an old soul or something, but I don't quite understand it. So it's just kind of a time wasting tool the way I see it, other than, you know, getting to talk to people here and there. But I think it's a double-edged sword. You know?
It is. I agree. Now, how long did it take from getting your team together to the actual production? How long did that process take?
All right. So, if I remember correctly, so the first version of the script, Zach was working on it around spooky season. So, right around October, he was like, I have this script. It was under a different name. The style was different, but the similar bones were there. And it wasn't until December we're like, hey, let's make this into a short. And let's get our team together. Let's look at people we know. Let's start casting. Let's having those conversations. And then we started shooting. We wanted to shoot in January, but with so many people's schedules, it was so hard because a lot of us are in film school, working full time, and we're just have busy lives. And we were all blessed to be able to get everyone to work and start getting everything done in January. And then we dealt with some funny delays with Mother Nature because our film really has a lot of fog in it.
Yeah.
And in California, fog is the hardest thing to control, no matter how much effort, how much planning, and how much weather. And we even had a guy who specializes in astronomy that like was one of our friends who's also our DP. He's like, yeah, we might get fog today. And we're like, great, get there, no fog whatsoever. So that kind of delayed us a little bit. And
I would like, just really quick, I would like to make a PSA to all filmmakers, all indie filmmakers who might be listening. Never write in fog or beaches. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
It's such a headache.
Why not beaches?
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Why not beaches?
The biggest issue is when people are at beaches, they're looking to have fun. And if you're filming something with like a big camera and some lights, they're like, ooh, what are you filming? And they like walk right into shot. Right? Right? And then the wind, just the amount of wind that you cannot control. But we had an amazing boom operator that like that whole entire shoot time where he was laying on the floor getting as tight as you could to their mouths to capture all that audio.
Mm-hmm. There was a point where this guy had to lay in the sand and he had like the boom. It was like in a little gun because we couldn't fit the pole, and he had it in the sand. He's raising it up. The tide is coming in, and it's starting to like get to him, and I could just see the fear on his face. And I'm like, "We got this. Trust me. Last shot.
Yeah, and there are so many good shots ruined too by just people going, "What's being filmed?" Or we're like, "Hey, can you walk around?" We'll be signaling like, walk around," and they're like, "Okay, walk through." And
walk right into the shot. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and like
we were shooting. Oh my goodness, we were shooting this tight shot on Skylar, who's playing the character Mira, and it was this really great shot where she's like perfectly backlit, and you could see almost like this otherworldly kind of halo on her. And really good shot. She's killing it with the acting. I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. And then this family starts setting up right behind her, like right in shot. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. And the other big thing about this, so our film was shot, it could not be, if not for way under $1,000, maybe under 500, right? So we didn't have permits. We were guerrilla filmmaking, so we were basically stealing as many shots as we could before anyone would see us. And so it's hard to say, like, hey, we're blocking this entire part of the beach, so we had to let the public walk through, do their thing. But I'm also like, there's a level of decency where you're like, hey, someone's filming. I'm not going to set my kids up right in the corner. So we were also battling that. It's like maybe if we got permits, we could say, hey, can you leave us alone? But no. So that was another issue that we dealt with. And then we were able to finish production. I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. We had one shot that we're like, this is it. And that the beach scenes were all delayed because that just the fog the lighting would change rapidly. And we dealt with a lot of rain spells recently and California's basically getting drowned in rain. So
I think we had originally the beach scheduled just to be shot in 2 days. Yes. And I'm pretty sure by the end we extended it out to 4 because we had to basically go out and shoot each individual scene on a different day.
Yes.
And all of them we had to get there, like I was getting there at 5 a.m. most days. Yes. Just so we could have like the right lighting for the soft light. That way if we didn't have fog or the lens we were using didn't get it would be easier for our VFX man to add it in post. And thank the heavens we got it.
Yeah.
We got it all.
And then now we're in the post-production zone, so we're pushing, we're checking in, we're like, hey, let's get that rough cut, we're getting going. And we're hoping to have it completely done by summer. We're hoping, and we're going to be sending out to some festivals at the beginning of April. We're just getting those things set up so that we can send it off and praying to every film god, every horror person in the world that, we get to share a film.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, the original script, I'm pretty sure, you're compacting the original script into a short film, which means, you have to probably cut out a lot. Was there a lot you had to cut out to get it compound into the short film time span?
I think when the way Dahlia put it, it made it sound way longer than it ever was, and it was always short as can be. And I think the original version, I think it was 7 pages long, and it was completely different, like a complete separate entity. Like if somebody turned it into a movie, they'd be like, "Hey, that looks like it's ripping off HEX." Like it's so different, you could say it's a ripoff. But then I came back to it and I started writing it, and the more I was reading it, the more I was writing, I was like, okay, it needs to be longer. I need to add something here. I need to add something here. So like originally, I don't want to get too much into the plot. You should watch it. It's pretty good. But
definitely.
It just kind of you start into this main character, John, and there's really not much context of what's happening, and the ending just kind of seems like it comes out of nowhere. And so I added like an extra 4 pages just for the beginning to set up everything and to make it feel more whole. So by the end, what was a 7-page script turned into a 30-page script with 50 scenes, and I think it's the biggest thing we've done so far. Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't say it was cutting, but I probably added a little too much maybe. But
and that was the fun part too, is because Zach was very collaborative. He was always going like, hey, I need someone to read this, give me your ideas, give me harsh criticism. And we had a good group. We had a strong group of maybe me, Zach, and 2 other people where we'd sit and read the script, we'd meet and be like, okay, Zach, what about this? What about this? What if we do this? Hey, let's try this. And Zach would be like, no. Or he'd be like, yeah, let's try it. Right. So I think that's what also added to we were pushing him to get from that 7-page script to that long version.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, without everybody's input, it would have been a doozy for sure. Because I mean, the way I see it, it's like one mind is one mind. You're gonna get a one-minded script. But if you have a script, go ahead.
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah, but you know, you get a one-minded script. And so the more input I was getting from others, you know, like Dahlia had this great idea where we have this sequence of where basically the witch shows him what could be, and she shows him this kind of false reality that he could have. And she had this really great idea to show this through like the hands, and we have that in a few scenes, and it's really, I think, what ties the sequence together. I could have never thought of that. Dahlia could. Mm-hmm. And it's so cool because, you know, there's a lot of these different moments where it's like I said, you know, during the pandemic, film school kind of just fell away from me, or I fell away from it, however you want to put it. And, you know, like I said, I'm in trade school. And so I study film still. On my spare time, you know, I study what I can, watch what I can, and learn everything I can. You know, I copy everybody's notes in film school, you know. While, you know, I'm trying to make some money so I can, you know, fund it for everybody, you know. That way we're not always relying on somebody else to give us money. We can make it for ourselves. And I lost my train of thought. Thank you, ADHD. Oh yeah, collaboration. I couldn't have done it alone. Everybody had such amazing ideas, you know, from the DP Chase. He graduated Cal State Long Beach's film school. He has a lot of great knowledge, mm-hmm. and he gave us some great shots. I mean, phenomenal. And he suggested this lens. And going back to the fog, this is the lens that saved a lot of scenes.
Yes.
Because he said, okay, I need you to buy this. Well, it's not a lens, it's a filter. And he says, I need you to go buy this filter. And I go, okay, what does it do? He's all, it'll just make everything look a little more dreamlike and a little more cloudy. It'll give it the surreal feel. I go, perfect. How much is it? He's all, it's like $100. And I'm like, is it in the bush? And so he basically was like, okay, we need it. And I was like, okay. So I shelled out the money. I grabbed it. I was like, I trust you. I trust what you have to say. So we get the lens and we go out. He gets us a test shot and I see it and I'm like, what's the difference between these two? He shows us this comparison shot and I can't see the difference. And I'm like, oh no, did I just spend $100 I didn't need to? And then we get to set, and it's the set outside, and we have this lens, and there's no fog, and I needed there to be fog. And there was no fog, and I'm like, oh God. He gets on this lens, he gets on the filter, he turns on the camera, and the way it kind of diffuses the light and everything, it captured the little amount of vapor there was in the air that we couldn't see with the human eye. So it just looked a little more foggy than it actually was. Beautiful. And saved us. Absolutely saved us. So I couldn't do it alone. It's really, I owe everything to everyone. And I mean, we haven't even gotten into the music that's being made by my buddy Ashen. He's doing the score for it. He's already done the beginning and sent it to me, and I've seen it, and it's great. It's looking great. I mean,
I agree with what you guys are saying. Like, I interview a lot of filmmakers, and I watch a lot of films. And when I hear, you know, filmmakers say, "Oh yeah, I'm the writer, director, producer, cinematographer, the composer," I'm like, how's that possible? I mean, I don't think it's possible. I mean, you have to have a team.
Yes.
You have to have a team. And from the audience, trust me, we can tell if one person is doing everything.
Yep. Ain't that the truth?
and I think I think that's also the struggle too when you have like a small budget. You know, everyone was so gracious and was able to get on this project, and we were like, hey, we can't pay you, but we will make sure you are fed, you will have coffee, we'll give you this, we'll help you put it in your reel, whatever you need from us, we'll help you. And so we're like, okay, let's get who we need, not everyone, but who we need, right? And it was, okay, we need an amazing director of photography who's going to make that camera work look beautiful. We need really good audio because we've seen so many films where you can't hear anything because the wind is winning. Yeah. And when we knew the beach was going to be our battle, We had an amazing stunt coordinator who helped us with a couple of our scenes. We were able to get everyone we ever needed. MUAs, our makeup artists, phenomenal. They killed it, amazing and so beautiful.
Praise the
And
makeup artist.
yeah, and we were like, these are things we need, and you know, we weren't able to go and grab like a second AD or every other type of smaller role or a PA. We all had to be our own PA. We had to be our own assistant. We all had to be like Zach would be like, "Hey, Dolly, what do you need from me?" And I'll be like, "Zach, this is what I need from you." Right? We were wearing so many hats that we had to just get it done, and we were always communicating with one another, like, "Hey, I can't handle this by myself. Please help." You know, and that was the beauty of the collaboration that we were able to work with.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, just go into the everybody's wearing multiple hats. I mean, I'd like to shout out Skylar because not only was she playing Mira, one of the biggest roles, I would say one of the heaviest acting roles, and she absolutely knocks it out of the park.
Yes.
But she also helps do the makeup on the big scary witch, and
Nice.
with the help of JL, and those two created this witch, which I believe is in the poster of the film.
It's a terrifying witch.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And I mean, the actress who plays her name's Kat, and we're going to shoot this scene, and we're like, "Hey, Kat, come on, we gotta shoot this scene." And she turns over in this witch disguise with this hood, you know, and these scary teeth. And I look at her, and I'm like, "That's not Kat. That's scary." Like, I genuinely felt unsettled. It was like this dark lighting, you know. We have like the candles, and I'm just like, "Oh God, get her away from me."
And back to that filming in public thing too we were dealing with, is we found this beautiful hiking spot we were filming in, and unbeknownst to us, there was a family with a little child, a little boy, walking behind us, and she's wearing the full-blown witch makeup, and we're like, "Hey, Kat, turn around." She looks, and the kid, I guess, looked at her and ran away. And I'm like, "Oh no, that's not what we wanted." But like at the same time,
that's not what you wanted. It's exactly what I wanted.
At the same time, we were laughing. We were like, "That's just a testament to their work, their phenomenal job that they did," and we were just shocked. But it was just so beautiful that it all came together.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I cannot wait to see. I cannot wait to see the final product. I'm definitely excited. All right. As you know, this is a horror channel, and you guys have horror movies. So I'm going to ask both of you one random horror question. You ready?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. Let's start off with Dahlia. Dahlia, what is one horror movie that everybody praises and says it's the greatest thing ever that you're like, it's just okay?
Okay, let me... Okay. This is a good one. Okay. I feel like it... Ooh, okay, this might offend a couple of my friends, but Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I know it's a classic.
Original?
Yeah, I know it's a classic, and I know, but I'm just like, this is just a gore... Like, there's a plot, but to me, I'm like, this is the worst thing in terms of, like, my stomach, where I'm like, how are you guys enjoying this? Like, I just can't sit during it. It's, yeah, that's the one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And Zachary?
Oh, okay. I got two, and I always get dirty looks from both. And I guess I'll go with Saw, because I'll mainly say Saw. I know.
The first one or the whole series?
The whole series. I just okay. Like,
okay, yeah. Okay, I agree. Okay.
What? What?
Let's go.
I'm shocked. Maybe oh my god, okay.
I would say it's just because it's torture porn, and I don't like that. But I really like I like Final Destination, so that explanation doesn't make sense. I think it's just that I don't like torture. I think that's what it is for me.
See, I like torture because I like Hostel. I love the original Hostel. But I agree, I'm not a torture porn guy. Like, if you're watching my videos, you hear me say not good things about Terrifier. But with Saw was like the first two were good, and then I just think it was just like they were just milking the cow, and it was just it was just the same movies with the same dumb concept over and over and over again, and it just kind of watered down the whole. I mean, the series just you could have stopped at part 2 and just been done, you know, and it's just was milking the cow the whole entire time. So I agree with the Soul series, but Soul X is amazing.
Ooh, I love Saw X. I loved it. Loved it.
All right, I'll give that one a
X is
shot. I'll give
amazing.
that one a shot. Let me just write that down. Saw X. All right,
Because
I'll give it a
I was
shot.
giving Soul X, yeah, I was giving Soul X shit. Before it came out, I was like, and who's asking for another Soul movie, you know? And then I went to see it, and I've had to eat crow ever since because Soul X is absolutely amazing.
All right, I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check it out.
Yes, might be as good, if not better, than the original. That's how good Soul X is.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely put in my top 5 horror movies of last year. Definitely. Close on ranking. Which if you told me the beginning of the year, I would have been like, "There's no way, fucking hell, I'm putting Soul X in my top 5 horror movies for the year." Like, I was like, yeah, that movie and the new Exorcist. I just knew those movies were gonna be shit. And yes, the Exorcist was shit, but Soul X, I was completely surprised. I had no idea. I thought it was just going to be something that I've seen before. And
yeah, I gotta step away for 1 second. My cat's yelling at me to open the door.
No problem.
I gotta let him in.
I just love the Saws because it's an engineer, like the engineering behind it. I think that is always shocking to me.
Yeah, I mean, the engineering. Okay, but here's something else about the Saw movies too. Outside of like the first 2, some of the characters I don't feel like deserve the fate they got. You know what I mean?
Fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Because, for instance, if I'm working for a company, it's my fucking job, and I'm just a secretary or assistant, and let's say this company is scamming people out of money. Why the fuck do I deserve to die? I'm just working. Like, I'm not in charge or this and that. And that's what bothered me about the Saw movies. It was like the low-level people got killed too. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just kill the CEOs and the people who are making the decisions for the shitty company?
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree with that.
Saw movies. All right. Zachary, I'm going to shoot off with you. Where can everyone find you?
Find me. You can find me on Instagram. And I guess with Evil Dog Productions, I guess they're the only crew I roll with. I'm loyal. But yeah, my Instagram is at useful idut. That's 2 L's _IDUT.
And one place you're apparently not going to find him. You're not going to find him on Plenty of Fish, OK Cupid, or Tinder.
No, my dating app days are done.
Dahlia, where can everyone find you?
I'm on LinkedIn if people still use that. I'm on Instagram at Dahl DAHL _MAE Dalmay. And then of course at Evil Dog Productions, you can always find me. I'm always tagging everybody in it. So if you want to get to know our crew as well, I'm trying to think where else we are. Top of my head, those are the top places to look.
Oh, and we're going to be releasing this on Vimeo around summer, I believe.
Yes.
Sweet. Make sure I get a screener, and I will definitely have you guys back on.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much. You're amazing to talk to, so easygoing, and we've loved this.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I try to make this fun, not a interview, because I watch other people who do this, and they don't do it as good as me. I mean, I'm saying they don't do a bad job. But like,
no.
It just seems like a job interview or something. Anyway, well, everyone, listen, look out for HEX. Follow them. Amazing. All right. Thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.